How do you spot a foolish person? Not by their intelligence, their wealth, or their words, but by the way they live. The Stoics didn't define a fool as someone who lacked knowledge, but as someone who refused to master themselves. A fool is a slave to opinions, to emotions, to fear, while the wise person walks freely, guided only by reason and virtue. Hi, I'm Jason, and today we're breaking down 6 unmistakable signs of a foolish person, straight from the wisdom of the Stoics. But this isn't about pointing fingers at others, it's about looking inward, because the truth is, we all fall into these traps from time to time. The key is recognizing them before they take control of your life. At the end of this video, drop a comment saying, "I choose wisdom," to remind yourself of the path you're walking. Like the video to help others discover this wisdom, subscribe for more Stoic insights, and share this with someone who needs it. Now, let's get started. Because the cost of foolishness isn't just embarrassment, it's wasted time, wasted energy, and a life spent chasing shadows instead of becoming unshakable. 1. They confuse busyness with purpose. The foolish person mistakes motion for meaning, filling their days with tasks that glitter like gold but crumble to dust. Seneca, who watched Rome's elite drown in hollow pursuits, skewered this illusion. There is nothing the busy man is less busied with than living. Stoicism draws a stark line between activity and purpose. The former is a frenzy of distraction, the latter is action aligned with virtue. The fool's calendar bursts with meetings, errands, and notifications, yet their soul starves. They chase promotions, accolades, and productivity hacks, oblivious to the void beneath the noise. Consider the modern professional who boasts of 80-hour work weeks, mistaking exhaustion for excellence. They reply to emails at midnight, skip meals for meetings, and measure worth by inbox zero. Stoicism asks, to what end? Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire, cautioned, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? The fool cannot answer. They confuse urgency with importance, mistaking the appearance of effort for genuine contribution. A farmer who tills barren soil is no less busy, but no wiser. This confusion breeds existential poverty. Relationships wither into transactional exchanges. I'll call when I have time. Creativity suffocates under routine. Burnout looms, masked by the lie that hustle equals honor. Seneca warned, life is long if you know how to use it. The fool, however, squanders it on trivialities, racing toward a finish line they've mistaken for a mirage. The Stoic remedy is deliberate stillness. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. The wise person audits their days. Does this task serve my principles or my pride? They prune obligations like a gardener, nurturing only what bears fruit. A CEO who blocks mornings for strategic thinking, a parent who prioritizes bedtime stories over overtime. These acts embody Stoic purpose. Busyness fades, legacy remains. 2. They neglect self-awareness and repeat mistakes. A foolish person stumbles through life like a sleepwalker, tripping over the same stone twice, thrice, endlessly. Stoicism demands vigilant self-reflection, yet the fool avoids the mirror of their mind. Seneca, who journaled nightly to confront his flaws, warned, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. The fool, however, repeats errors, blaming luck or others for patterns rooted in their own ignorance. Consider the entrepreneur who cycles through failed ventures, never questioning their impulsivity. Or the partner who hops from toxic relationship to toxic relationship, blind to their own codependency. Epictetus ridiculed this cycle. If you are defeated once and say you will overcome, but carry on as before, Know that in the end, you will be so ill you will not even notice your mistakes. The consequences are ruinous. Careers stall, relationships sour, and potential stiffens into regret. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. The fool, trapped in denial, joins those ranks willingly." Stoicism's remedy is prosoche, attention to the self. The wise person conducts daily autopsies of their actions. Where did I act from fear, not virtue? What lesson did this error hold? They journal, meditate, and seek candid feedback. As Seneca urged, assess yourself daily. The fool fears this scrutiny. The Stoic knows it is the only path to freedom. 3. They chase external validation over inner virtue. A foolish person in the Stoic view is not someone lacking intellect, but someone enslaved to the opinions of others. While the Stoic sage measures worth by alignment with virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, the fool measures it by applause, status, and possessions. Epictetus, the philosopher who rose from slavery, warned, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Do not wish to seem knowledgeable." Yet the fool does the opposite. They trade integrity for approval, sacrificing inner peace on the altar of external validation. Consider the metaphor of a leaky cup. The fool spends their life pouring water, effort, time, identity, into a cup riddled with holes, the ever-shifting demands of others. No matter how much they pour, the cup never fills. Why? Because validation, like water through cracks, cannot be retained. Marcus Aurelius observed this futility. How much time he saves, who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy. The fool, in contrast, obsesses over their neighbor's cup, coveting its shine, fretting over its size, while their own remains cracked and empty. Modern examples abound. The social media addict who edits their life into a highlight reel, mistaking likes for self-worth. The employee who silences their ethics to echo a toxic boss's views, trading dignity for a promotion. Even parents who push children into prestigious careers to satisfy societal expectations, valuing reputation over the child's innate gifts. Seneca saw through this masquerade. What is admired by the crowd is fleeting and fragile. It hangs on the opinions of others. The fool's tragedy is that they build their identity on a foundation of sand, then rage at the tides when it crumbles. Stoicism reveals the antidote, inner virtue as the sole measure of success. A wise person cares not whether others deem them successful, but whether they acted with courage, fairness, and self-respect. When criticized, they ask, "Is this true?" If so, they grow. If not, they release it. The fool, however, internalizes every slight and inflates every compliment, becoming a puppet of others' whims. This chase has dire consequences. Anxiety festers as the fool's worth fluctuates with others' moods. Relationships turn transactional. What can you do for me? Rather than rooted in mutual respect. Burnout follows as the body and mind exhaust themselves chasing an illusion. Marcus Aurelius captured the stakes. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The fool's soul, stained by envy and insecurity, grows blind to life's true riches, integrity, tranquility, and the quiet joy of living in accord with nature. The Stoic path demands a radical shift. Stop pouring into the leaky cup. Mend it by turning inward. Ask, as Seneca did each night, "Did I act today as a free person or a slave to others' eyes?" The wise know that external validation is a fickle god. Inner virtue is an unshakable compass. As Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. it is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. The fool may call this naivety. The Stoic calls it liberation. 4. They blame others for their misfortunes. A foolish person, in the Stoic lens, is not defined by their circumstances, but by their refusal to own them. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control external events, we always control our judgments and responses. The fool inverts this truth, outsourcing agency to others. Epictetus, who endured enslavement yet forged unbreakable self-mastery, admonished, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The fool reacts by pointing fingers at fate, at colleagues, at the universe, mistaking blame for catharsis. But blame, like a boomerang, only circles back to compound their suffering. Consider the manager who berates their team for missed deadlines, blind to their own poor planning, or the spouse who attributes marital strife solely to their partner's flaws, ignoring their own emotional neglect. The Stoic response is radical accountability. Marcus Aurelius, who faced betrayal and plague, wrote, "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy. To blame is to mirror the very behavior one condemns. To take responsibility is to rise above it." Seneca exposed the folly of this mindset. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The fool inflates minor slights into catastrophes, interpreting a friend's tardiness as disrespect or a job rejection as cosmic injustice. They become prisoners of their own narratives, weaving tales of victimhood that eclipse their power to act. Stoicism, in contrast, strips away the drama. It asks, what is yours to address here? A flat tire is not a curse, but a test of adaptability. A betrayal is not a verdict on your worth, but a lesson in discernment. History offers stark examples. Nero, the emperor who burned Rome and blamed Christians, embodies the fool's desperation to evade guilt. Seneca, his tutor, warned him, "A kingdom founded on injustice never lasts." Nero's refusal to confront his own corruption led to his downfall. The modern parallel? Leaders who scapegoat subordinates for systemic failures, or individuals who blame toxic workplaces while clinging to complacency. The consequences of blame are corrosive. Relationships fracture under the weight of resentment. Growth stagnates as the fool fixates on others' faults rather than their own potential. Marcus Aurelius cautioned, "You've been given your own ruling faculty. Stop letting it be pulled around by external forces." The wise person redirects energy from blame to action, repairing what they can, releasing what they cannot. Stoicism's remedy is simple but profound. Own your story. When adversity strikes, ask not, "Who did this to me?" but "What can I learn from this?" As Epictetus taught, don't seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and you'll go on well. The fool resists this truth, clinging to the delusion that life owes them fairness. The Stoic knows fairness is irrelevant, agency is everything. 5. They fear adversity and avoid growth. The fool views adversity as an enemy to flee. The Stoic sees it as a mentor to embrace. Seneca, who turned exile into a creative rebirth, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Yet the foolish person ducks challenges, seeking comfort in routines and echo chambers. They mistake the calm of stagnation for peace, not realizing that untested resilience is as fragile as glass." Stoicism's amor fati, love of fate, confronts this cowardice. Marcus Aurelius framed adversity as fuel. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The fool, however, detours around obstacles, avoiding risks that might bruise their ego or disrupt their ease. A student who drops a difficult course to protect their GPA a professional who declines promotions fearing responsibility, a parent who shelters children from all hardship. All choose momentary comfort over lasting growth. Epictetus, who transformed physical slavery into philosophical freedom, ridiculed such timidity. Do you think you can do nothing if you don't have soft blankets and silk pajamas? The fool's obsession with comfort breeds fragility. They panic when Wi-Fi fails, crumble under criticism, and equate inconvenience with injustice. The Stoics say to this mindset, "You cry that no one hands you life's blessings, but will you even stretch out your hand?" The consequences are dire. Avoidance shrinks the soul. Skills atrophy. Relationships wither under the weight of unmet potential. Marcus Aurelius warned, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." The fool's ambitions, caged by fear, become trivial. A life measured by Netflix binges and risk-free choices. Stoicism's antidote is voluntary discomfort. The wise person seeks challenges, fasting to appreciate food, taking cold showers to master impulses, engaging debates to hone reason. These are not masochistic acts, but spiritual training. Seneca advised, "Test your mind, see if it has grasped what it's learned, for we don't learn for school, but for life." Modern examples abound. The entrepreneur who pivots after failure, the athlete who trains in rain, the parent who lets children solve their own disputes. Each embodies Marcus Aurelius's truth. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The fool clings to safe harbors. The Stoic sails into storms, knowing calm seas never made skilled sailors. To fear adversity is to fear life itself. As Seneca wrote, "Fortune is like a river. It drowns the weak, but energizes the strong." The fool drowns in shallow water. The Stoic rides the current, emerging not just unscathed, but unbreakable. 6. They cling to impermanence as if it's eternal. The fool clings to fleeting things, wealth, youth, status, as though they could defy time's tide. Stoicism, in contrast, teaches that attachment to the temporary is the root of despair. Marcus Aurelius, who buried loved ones and faced his own mortality daily, wrote, "Everything is ephemeral, both that which remembers and that which is remembered." The foolish person, however, builds castles on shifting sand, raging when the waves reclaim them. Consider the retiree who hoards wealth, fearing poverty long after security is assured. Or the lover who clings to a fading relationship, demanding permanence from a bond built on change. Epictetus, who knew impermanence intimately as a former slave, scoffed, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse." The fool's tragedy is not loss itself, but their refusal to accept life's rhythm. Modern culture amplifies this delusion. Anti-aging creams promise eternal youth. Social media profiles fossilize identities. Corporations chase infinite growth on a finite planet. Seneca mocked this denial. "You act like mortals in all you fear, and like immortals in all you desire." The fool's terror of aging, irrelevance, or financial loss becomes a self-made prison. Stoicism's antidote is memento mori, remembering death to vivify life. The wise person savors moments without clutching them. They invest in legacy, not trophies, mentoring successors, planting trees they'll never sit under, writing letters to future generations. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live." The fool hoards, the Stoic gives. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Let's strive to live better, more respectful lives. Until next time, stay strong and stay stoic.